The vision, obviously, is to make MSMEs more resilient and make them a much stronger and resilient backbone of our Indian economy. So why this chamber? So as we all know, Indian economy, in the Indian economy, the MSME contributes more than 30% to the GDP. And in the manufacturing sector, more than 48% of total exports of India is coming from the MSME segment. At the same time, MSME is also employing 11 crore people. And that is one of the reasons why MSME is considered as the backbone of our country. On December 20th, 2020, Honorable Minister for MSME, Shri Nitinji Gadkari, has shown us a vision and given us a target that the contribution of MSME segment should grow from 30% to 40% as part of the GDP, and the export contribution should go up from 48% to 60%. MSME segment is also expected to add another 5 crore jobs in next 5 years. So with this background, with this vision, with this idea, we were founded in December 2020 during the height of pandemic, and with a single target in mind to empower the MSME entrepreneurs to achieve the next level of success. Our objectives are pretty straightforward. We want to work extensively for the advancement of MSME. We want to represent the MSME sector in various forums. We are trying to empower farmers to become entrepreneurs. In fact, tomorrow's topic is geared towards farmers and FPOs. I'll tell more about it shortly. There is a lot of research being done, a lot of advanced technologies available, a lot of government schemes and policies in place, and we want to be our single point contact where the convergence of all of these things are happening. We also want to assist SMEs in developing world-class products so that they can cater to the global markets. Through capacity building, through trainings and development, where these webinar series is one of those initiatives, we want to make MSMEs even more stronger. Conduct different study tours, knowledge enhancement programs, strategic tie-ups, help MSMEs participate in exhibitions are some of the objectives of our chamber. We have been fortunate. We've officially launched on March 1st, so we are barely 2 months old. And we are very fortunate to have a very strong advisory board, and all our advisory board members have readily accepted our invite, including Professor Smita Lele, Dr. Prabodh Halde, Dr. Prakash Kondekar, and Dr. K.D. Kamble. We also have a very strong management team where I serve as the current president. Mr. Umesh Kamble is our secretary and a backbone of our chamber and all its activities. Mr. Prashant Naigaonkar comes with vast experience in finance and is handling our finance facilitation cell. Mr. Ajit Kasar and Prashant Pradhan come with extensive experience in the sales and marketing side. So we have tried to address the two key issues that any MSME faces, which is the finance and the sales. And we have been running a lot of different handholding programs for SMEs. We also have Mr. Sachin Kumboje, who's running an incubator and an accelerator out of Kolhapur, and he's spearheading our activities in Western Maharashtra. Mr. Anup is also managing and running a similar ecosystem out of Marathwada through Aurangabad. And Ms. Arpita Doshi represents us in Gujarat and is also heading our women's cell. And Mr. Samir is looking after our activities in Goa. So in a short period of 2 months, we have already spread our wings in 3 states, and slowly and steadily we want to reach pan India. So some of the initiatives on Mondays, we have tried to bring entrepreneurs who have been successful in their areas. And we have heard from various entrepreneurs in the month of March. And we are very fortunate today to have Dr. Nilesh talk about his journey and his ideas about entrepreneurship. Tomorrow and every Tuesday in the month of May, we will be having technology transfer session. Tomorrow we have Dr. Professor Sanjay Boyer from Akola, where he has developed a novel technology for turmeric processing, which doesn't need that classical 7 to 10 days kind of a period, that can be shortened into 1 day. And he has received various awards and government support for developing that technology. On Wednesdays, we run a weekly knowledge forum, and we are very fortunate this week to have Dr. Shrikant Deshpande, who was formerly with DSIR under the DST, and he'll be talking about various R&D schemes available, where even not just academic institutes, but even pharma or food companies can avail various schemes and various fundings from the government. He'll be talking about it on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have a chartered accountant who will talk about how to manage your cash flows, how to run your balance sheet, how to manage your finances. He will talk about those aspects in our finance facilitation series on Thursday. So it's going to be an action-packed week this week. So I encourage all of you. The link will be the same every day. So I encourage all of you, whoever are interested in specific topics, to definitely attend our upcoming webinars this week, as well as every day, every Monday through Thursday throughout the month of May. In the month of April, we had launched 4 initiatives. First one was the Chamber Investor Platform, and we have received very good response. We have already met and heard pitch from 14 different startups, and shortly they will be pitching in front of investors. We have also been fortunate to have gathered a pool of almost 50 investors who are ready to invest all the way from 50 lakhs to 5 CR in startups. So if there are other startups who have not applied for the investor platform, feel free to send out an email. My email address is on the last slide, and you can submit your pitch deck and we'll try and put you in front of different investors. We have also launched the buyer seller meet. Again, we have got good response both from buyers and sellers. We are hoping to have that meet sometime in May. A couple of government agencies, including Mavim as well as MCDC, have also shown interest in being part of this meet and supporting our initiative. We have realized that a lot of times startups, the entrepreneurs are alone and they need a lot of handholding or a buddy or a mentor. So we have launched this startup program, the Startup Buddy program, where on a weekly basis, you will get a mentorship from people from either from entrepreneurship background or experts from a particular area. Again, we have received overwhelming response to the Startup Buddy program, which will be announced. More details will be announced shortly in next couple of weeks. And the fourth program, which is the industry defined problems, where many a times a lot of companies are facing small challenges, where we had done something similar in AFST Mumbai before, where these problems statements have been received from various industries and which will be further posed to students to receive ideas or solutions on them. So in the month of April, even though we didn't do any webinars, it has been a very active and very a busy month for the chamber, where a lot of investor pitchings have happened, and preparation for the buyer seller meet, Startup Buddy, and industry defined problem has a lot of time has gone into those 4 initiatives. So as you all know, we have seen the activities that the chamber has been doing, and obviously all of them are available to our members, where you can access our chamber networks once you become the member. You can also attend our chamber meets, which is once a month meeting of all the members, where reference sharing or in general knowledge sharing happens in those meets. You can also be part of our investor network, where like I said, already 14 pitch decks have been received, and slowly and steadily we look forward to having a larger pool of startups and a pool of investors where we can do the matchups of the investors as well as startups. I've already spoken about the industry defined problems. As a member of chamber, you will also get subsidized rates for certifications. So we have a ISO consultant on board who has readily offered to give subsidized certifications fees for his certification services. Similarly, you can be part of our events. Obviously, currently we are doing all free, but maybe post COVID, some of them could be paid, could be physical. So all the events that chamber hosts or our partners like AFST Mumbai, All India Food Processors, or NetProfan or Entrao2 are going to host, you will be getting subsidized rate for any of those paid events. And last but not the least, our chamber office in Mumbai is available to our members. If in case they don't have presence in Mumbai, they can access our office and use it for their team meetings or any other meetings that they want to host while they are in Mumbai. So, and we have tried to keep the membership fees as low as possible. And based on the categorization of MSME, we have given them different categories. And if you are having a turnover less than 5 CR, the annual membership is as low as 2,500, going all the way up to 25,000. Even students and farmers are welcome to become our affiliate members, because we want more and more students to learn and eventually probably become startups or become an MSME. And farmers also can start start doing their farming like an entrepreneur. So we want both these segments also to be part of our chamber as part of affiliate membership. So thank you very much. And if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to me at this phone number and this email. I access this every day. Or you can reach out to us from any of other team members like Diksha or Umesh or any other team members from our team. So with this, I take this opportunity to introduce and also welcome our today's guest speaker, and a very well qualified and very well respected person from the field of food. So I'm very fortunate. Dr. Nilesh, we don't see you, but I guess you are there.
Yeah, I am there.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. So, okay. Thank you,
One
Dr.
Nilesh is introducing other Nilesh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Prabodh, for...
No, Nilesh Amrutkar is there, and how come we will miss out that opportunity to see the Nilesh's actually guidance, because I have seen his personal journey from last 17 years. So I'm fortunate to speak.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Your blessings are always great, sir.
So, Dr. Nilesh has a
Nilesh.
PhD in microbiology from Food and Fermentation
Yes.
Department of UDCT, now known as ICT, Institute of Chemical Technology. And currently he serves as the managing director at EnviroCare Labs in Thane, near Mumbai. He has represented testing, inspection, and certification industry at various FSSAI and FDA committees, and has been fortunate to be the national level resource person at FSSAI for FOSTEC training programs, FSMS for catering, Orange Book for workplace food safety. As a master trainer with FSSAI, he has trained more than 1,000 food safety officers, designated officers across India. He carries a firm belief that knowledge is power, and thus he has initiated a 1-year IGNOU postgraduate diploma in food safety and quality management at EnviroCare Center for Continual Education and Research. Over past 2 decades, he has been involved in developing one of India's top environment and food testing lab, and he has had a wonderful experience in establishing accreditation processes and systems as per ISO 17025 and ISO 17043, and coordinating with different regulatory bodies in India such as MOEF, ANSISI, FSSAI, BIS, EIC, APEDA, AGMARC. He has multiple achievements. I guess it will keep going on and on. So he has also been a past president of AFST Mumbai. He's the current vice president at AFSTI headquarters, has been past president and associated with AOIL, AIFPA, and so many other representations. So with this, sorry, Dr. Nilesh, if I've missed out anything from the list is pretty long, but probably most of us who are attending today already know you and your achievements. So I welcome you, and the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Nilesh, I will just add one thing. Prabodh here, I think Dr. Nilesh Amrutkar, over last 16 years, which I know him. And his father was a great and great scientist in the area of environment. And when I was in Coca-Cola, he has actually put a lot of STP and ETP plants all across India with Coke. Then the Nilesh used to come with him as a student. Then he was doing his PhD in UDCT, then UDCT, now ICT. But I think what describes Nilesh in one word, he is the person, not only for the business, but the science with purpose. Like he has really developed his laboratory today, having developed the great laboratory in the area of food and environment. But I think he has that very great motto of science with purpose, and he's a fine individual. in his personal capacity, which he has supported over so many entrepreneurs, students. And I think he is so calm and can be reached out, and he really helps the people. I think this is a great opportunity that we are hearing, Nilesh. So, Nilesh Amrutkar, we here to hear you, and all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Prabodh, for those kind words. And Nilesh Lele, thank you once again for calling me over to this particular chamber to talk to our fellow entrepreneurs, fellow students and farmers, the members of the chamber. And it is very heartening to see the effort that you all have been putting in making this chamber a very strong force to reckon with in the small and medium scale businesses, because that is where there was a lacuna, where most of the corporates are being represented by big associations like the CII and FICCI. But for the small companies, I think you are doing a wonderful job. The journey that you have set out with our all leaders like Lele Madam and Prabodh Sir, Kamble Sir, I think very interesting and a lot of things to learn from you. So thank you once again. The topic given to me was my journey across EnviroCare Labs, the food and environment testing laboratory that I work for. However, I beg to differ in terms that I have coined a presentation which wherein I have put up my thoughts, I put up my dreams of how an entrepreneur should think and how I was thinking when I was setting up my organization. So I have called it the name Reverie, which is a French word for dream or thought dreams. And I would like to share that with you shortly. Share screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes, it is. You may want to
Yeah.
do full screen.
Yeah. So I have done the full screen. So some of the photos are my own photos that I have taken. So I have a hobby of taking photographs at some of the exotic locations. So I have tried to use those photographs, and I have tried to word out my thought process in few of the slides that are going to be presented now. So what do you want to be, what do you have to have in you to become an entrepreneur is, first of all, I would say that you need to dream, and you need to dream out your plan, and then you have to plan your action, and then the action gets converted into results. It is a very tedious process. It requires a lot of passion, it requires a lot of perseverance, and it requires a lot of learning to convert your dreams into reality. And these results are generally what we term as a businessman or an entrepreneur as growth. But growth can be also further defined as, what do you mean by growth? One is that, of course, we want profits. At the end of the day, we want money. All of us want money. But is there something apart from money that a growth signifies? And I have defined growth as something called as sustainable care, or creating value or harnessing value over a period of time by the actions that you put out in your business or in your work. And this particular value or sustainable growth, Rotary has helped me a lot. And I will give you a story of this particular slide which I put across. This is called as a four-way test in Rotary parlance. And in 1932, there was one company which was led by a person called Mr. Taylor, Herbert Taylor. The company name was Club Aluminium Products, and it was having around 250 employees. And though it was earlier a very good profitable company, it was almost on the verge of breaking up, and on the verge of bankruptcy. And the director or the owner of this particular company was thinking, where I have gone wrong as a businessman or as an entrepreneur. And he was thinking a lot on how do I bring my company up. And then he started jotting down things, and he came up with 4 questions for all the actions that were taken or would be taken going forward. And these questions, if you apply in your personal life, in your professional life, in your personal life as a student, personal life as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as an employee, as a family member, I think these questions really make you find the answers to a lot of your questions in your life. And these questions are: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? So this four questions, if they are answered for every challenge or every action that you are going to take, I really don't think that a person can go wrong in his concepts of delivering the targets that he has set out for. And this was further taken up almost about in next 20 years by Rotary International as their four-way test for the membership. So most of you would be aware that Rotary International is not just a association of professional people, but it is also used for networking. It is also used for doing social work, and it is one of the institute which has dealt with doing the polio vaccination campaign across, eradication of polio across the globe. So every member is being oriented towards this four-way test, which they can use in their business life as well as in their personal professional lives. So this has helped a lot. And uh, this particular four questions has also led to that we always give benefit or we always appreciate people who are into sales or who are into production, but we sometimes fail to understand or say sometimes fail to recognize people who are at the bottom of the pyramid, or I would say at the bottom or the foundation of our pyramid, which is holding our organization, holding our institute to the whims and fancies of the nature. And here I have just penned down my thoughts in 4 lines for the security guards at my company. And we told them that we care for you, and the lines are: I'm beating up all the odds, making a success road ahead for the company, not just for themselves but for the company. And I'm not holding any gun. You can see the security guard don't hold any gun, but they are seeing that the show is running. And especially this was proved during the times of COVID lockdown. These were the people who stood by us all throughout, and our deepest gratitude and admiration to our security, who actually even check my bag also when I go out of my organization. So we need to understand these, and we need to be sensitive to the people across all the ecosystem. This is one of the photographs that I had taken when I was in US over the Hoover Dam. And when I say that apart from sustainable care, we need to create value as an entrepreneur. So what is value? As I said, value is not just profits or money that at the end of the day we want to earn, but are we creating something good for our customers, for our employees, for our shareholders, for our vendors, for the world at large? And again, I have put the concept of value in 3 lines. You can create a value without capturing any of it. Like, you can actually have a very good creation, but you may not transfer that creation into money or into anything that is tangible. There are a lot of intangible value creation. You can capture more value while creating less, because there are some people who would want to capture profits or want to capture a lot of things by creating less and less, but you can't actually capture any value without creating it. So the most significant aspect of any entrepreneur, if you want to become an entrepreneur, I think we should be able to create some value for something that we really care for. And Further to this, I have tried to bifurcate this value concept into creating value and how do you capture the value. So there are some examples, like you create a network effect. Like there was a telephone that was invented, but if there was only one telephone in the world, it would not have created the value. There has to be multiple such telephones to really create a value, and that's a networking effect. And in today's world, it is like Facebook or Twitter. If there is only one Facebook account, it would not have any effect, but it has to have multiple networking effect. It has to have multiple accounts. Building a brand strength. So whatever brand that you are building, what strength does it stand for? What quality does it stand for? What does it signifies? And stronger the brand, the customer is willing to pay more for that particular product. And I think I don't have to give an example of companies like Apple, where the brand is so strong that it demands such a high value to high premium to all of its product. Developing efficient operations is again a part of creating value. And I would say that whatever processes that you involve in your business production or services, how efficiently you capture it so that you lower the cost of production or lower the cost of your services, and in turn benefit your customers in giving a good quality, not just the quality but also in a very effective pricing. Because at the end of the day, every consumer or a customer would look at the price point also. So how do you create this value and pass it on to your consumer or a customer is very important. And then there are examples of how do we whatever value we have created, how do you capture it, or how do we take it out of the system. And for an every entrepreneur, like for example, I am running a laboratory. There are people who would be building up products or giving up services like consultancy. They create their value in terms of their knowledge or in terms of their good quality product. But how do they monetize is they need to price it effectively. So if tomorrow I start charging nutritional value analysis or environmental air discharges at a very high price, I may have created a value, but I may not be able to monetize it, because people would be in array, how do I really pay for this? But again, looking at creating value, if I create a value to my product or my service in terms that there is an assurance that you will be complying to all the regulatory requirements, and there would not be any issue coming to you from your customer or meeting your sustainability goals, then I think I can really charge a premium. So this is how monetizing the users or pricing effectively can happen. In recent terms, I would talk about in monetizing users or pricing effectively is how Facebook or Twitter has been really monetizing its users. So the number of users which Twitter has or Facebook has are enormous, but Facebook has really been able to monetize their users by charging them small fees in 500 rupees or 100 rupees and giving up a huge amount of revenue to their owners. Providing liquidity to shareholders is again very important aspect of capturing value. That if I have invested in my company, in XYZ company, am I getting value out of it in terms of dividends, or my share pricing is increasing or not? So an entrepreneur has to really look at not only from the perspective of how much I am going to take home as my salary or the profits, but there are other stakeholders, there are other shareholders of the company, my customers, my vendors, my shareholders. All of them are the stakeholders of the company, and what is the kind of benefit that they are going to get because of my actions in my company. So these are some of the points that I have tried to put and define the growth of any company from sustainable care and value perspective. And then as an entrepreneur, I would say that we are always challenged on three aspects. One is that see, we can motivate people, but who is going to motivate us? And at many times it is said that it is lonely at the top. So an entrepreneur or a owner of a company feels lot of loneliness when it comes to dealing with the challenges that he face, and he needs to be motivated daily. So I have just coined something for my own self, that every week has to be dandy and dazzling days across all the 7 days, and motivating Monday, or a transformational Tuesday, or a wonderful Wednesday, or a triumphant Thursday, or a fantastic Friday, or a successful Saturday. And at the end of the week, I think what we need is peace and a serene Sunday. This photo is from Ladakh in the Nubra Valley. And this is something which really helps you. The travel that I do, or the moments I capture in my camera, is something that really gives me an insight into how do I have to function once I'm back into the work stress. So the other aspect of the challenge which an entrepreneur always face is that बहुत लोग सिखाते हैं, and the entrepreneur has to learn every day. And I have coined this few lines, that what knows one knows is finite, but what one can learn is infinite. Where the known ends, the learning begins, and we need to keep learning. So शाम का वक्त है, तो keep walking is a terminology which some of you would be aware of at 7 o'clock. And daily keep learning is something that we also should be telling ourselves as entrepreneurs. And at business, I would say that every customer is a teacher, every vendor partner is a teacher, every colleague of yours is a teacher. He may be a subordinate, he may be your boss. Every competitor is a teacher. The competition teaches you a lot, and it is our business to be a student. My business is not just production, or my business is not service, but my business is to be a student. My business is to learn, unlearn, and relearn, so that you can earn. And the earning is in form of love, respect, and care. So these are the intangible earnings that a businessman should be looking at all the time. And the third aspect is that he has to be a fighter, because every day, as I said, that he has to find, he has a lot of challenges, and he needs to keep himself motivated. So how do we keep himself motivated? Is that he needs to be a fighter, a born fighter. And for this, I have penned down few lines, that बहुत बार ऐसा होता है that when you get up, or at the end of the day, you think that your business is not moving in the right direction, and you see darkness around you. But then you actually need to find out the light which will help you overcome all your darkness. So from darkness to light, one has to always fight. The road would be tough, but then the road would be rough, but then you have to be tough as an entrepreneur. The journey may be long, but you need to be strong, and you need to lead strong. Believe in yourself, and every milestone becomes a song. And when you become a fighter, or when you are a fighter, when you go on conquering your milestones, or your short-term goals, your long-term goals, the known creates a sense of pride. But the God is there to tell us that there is a lot of unknown things in your journey, and that breeds humility in you as an entrepreneur. So the pride and humility has to go hand in hand. And again, with respect to a fighter, I would always tell myself that in this vast ecosystem of business, you have to stand solid as a rock against all the waves of challenges that are being thrown at you. But it also reminds you that you are just a small rock in this vast ocean. So if at all the waves hit you so badly, don't be sad about that. that it has really hit me badly, you need to understand that you are a small rock in this vast ocean. This is a photograph that has been taken in Kanyakumari. So I have shown some of the photographs from Ladakh to Kanyakumari, from India to USA. So this was about how an entrepreneur thinks and how he keeps himself motivated in his business. But this particular slide will talk about ये सब ठीक है यार, motivation है ये, but actions क्या करने का. There was one slide which I showed you that entrepreneur has dreams, and the dreams, to convert it into results, there is a process for it. And this process I have taken out from ISO 9001. So people think that it is a certification that you need to hang out onto your company so that you get a good amount of business. But it also talks a lot on how do you actually function. And there is something called as a PDCA cycle that is being described in any ISO: plan, do, act, and check. And how do we actually implement that? Is the plan is plan your targets, do your business plan, act as if it is a routine, and then check out on your achievements. So this is something which we need to tell ourselves as entrepreneurs. We need to tell ourselves as managers. We need to tell ourselves as executives. We need to tell this to ourselves and our colleagues, our subordinates in our company, so that we all are oriented, looking at one goal, one focus, which is the company's goal, company objectives, shared by each and every member of your team. So this is a very important lesson or a learning to an entrepreneur, that the targets or the dreams that an entrepreneur has needs to be shared with the team, because then and then only those dreams can be achieved, or else it will just remain the dreams. Now, having said all these things about entrepreneurship and how do we really motivate ourselves, what are the challenges that are being faced by the entrepreneur, I would also like to put across few slides on a very important aspect that we as entrepreneurs, or you as entrepreneurs, we all as entrepreneurs need to look at, and that is the queue. We all should be standing in the queue, that is queue of quality. Our Prime Minister has announced or had announced about 8 years back Make in India. But I would say that Make in India would be a success only and only if there is quality India. And it's my dream that if you type on Google the word quality, the name of India should come out. And quality is not just with respect to the products. Quality is not just with respect to the processes or the services that are being provided by the companies, by the entrepreneurs here in India, but quality is also for the life of people around us. The quality is also for the way we interact with people, the way we talk with people, and the way we behave with people. All these forms the overall quality. And how do we really put it across into our system? Like example, for my laboratory, which is into testing, major into testing business, we have given a call to all our employees that quality tested in India should be our goal, that whatever is tested in India has to have quality. And we have defined that if you want to test with trust, you have to test with us. So this is out of the 40 years of experience of our company and my own experience of last 20 years that I've been working with EnviroCare Labs. We have focused on quality. But going forward to this, I have tried to, how do we pass on this information to our people? And I have tried to look at our national flag. Our national flag is a tricolor. We all know that, orange, white, and green color. Orange depicts sacrifice, white depicts peace, and the green depicts prosperity. It also some way say that it represents Hindu, Christian, and Islam, and all the other religions. So we have always been taught that there has been a lot of sacrifice done by our freedom fighters, and because of which we have got freedom. And after 72 years or 70 odd years of our independence, the new generation that is coming in, they need to really look at the flag with some different perspective also. And I tried to put across in the next slide my perspective of our national flag. This again, why I'm putting this, as an entrepreneur, we need to create value not only in our products and services, but also in our thought process. And my thought process goes like this, that the saffron, the color representing our social communication, the motivation, the instincts, the emotions, and is a symbol of trust. The trust which is based on concepts of integrity and righteousness, trust in the products produced and the services provided by the righteous citizens of our country, making the world trust the Make in India and Made in India a quality brand. The green color represents love, balance, harmony, growth, and is a symbolic of happiness. So happiness for all living and non-living. Whatever my actions as an entrepreneur, how do we create happiness in my customers, in my vendors, in my own people, in myself, in the living, non-living things around us, by inclusiveness towards the nature that we are all surrounded with, so that we provide a sustainable planet, not for us, but for our future generations to come. And the white color represents the purity, the wholeness, the innocence, the completion and perfection of quality. White without any spots and with only a blue wheel with 24 spokes to it represents the quality is a responsibility 24/7 for the quality of our products, quality of our people, quality of our places, quality with zero effect, zero defect, quality from a skill India in smart cities, quality which will truly make in India a success, quality which will make India a force to reckon with. So this is what I have tried to define, or rather redefine our national flag, so that it can make sense to me and to my people, to the people whom I interact with, to the kids whom I interact with. And how do we have a trustworthy, quality cognizant, and a happy citizen of an emerging India? So this is something which I have tried to pen down my thoughts. And now coming to the story of EnviroCare Labs, I have, I think, 10 minutes for myself. Uh, this is the new recent building which we inaugurated, not as such inaugurated because there was COVID lockdown. And in February 2020, we actually came up with this building, and we are the first laboratory in the country, a research laboratory, a testing laboratory in the country to have IGBC, Indian Green Building Council certification as platinum rating for our laboratory. And this is something which is very unique and very proud to. So this is what is creating value. And these are the hallmarks of our quality. We had to really learn a lot on analytical testing services, because our organization till almost 2002 2004 was more into consulting for effluent treatment plant designs, operations, maintenance, more into engineering, turnkey projects. It was only when I joined formally in 2002 as director in the company, after completing my PhD and working with Biocon for about 10 years, I thought of really putting up importance to the laboratory. And thanks to my father, who did guide me into putting up or reinforcing our laboratory infrastructure. And slowly, steadily, we went on with the various accreditations, right from NABL to Ministry of Food Processing, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Consumer, Ministry of Health, international recognitions like the GAFTA and the World Bank, Ministry of Commerce, and also we are recognized by the university or the IGNOU for our courses that we do under our Center for Continuing Education and Research. Here I would like to specifically mention Center for Continuing Education and Research, which was a concept that was started about 15 years back to encourage student internship programs, and this was all out of my learnings when I was in college in 91 92. There was hardly any concept of internship, and me and my father really thought that we should put our organization in front of the students, so that they skill themselves, they learn themselves as a part of their summer internship or winter projects, so that they develop themselves for the industry and the life ahead or the career ahead after their college. And I'm very happy to tell all of you that we have mentored more than 1,000 students till date in last 20-25 years, and some of them are in the cities or countries of Germany, Netherlands, most of the Europe, Canada. In fact, there are so many students who have done their internship and are still in connect with EnviroCare. There are so many employees of EnviroCare who are now settled in either New Zealand or Canada, and have become the citizens of that country, that they find it very important and very significant input from EnviroCare as a part of their mentorship that they received during their initial stages. And I would like to tell you that as an entrepreneur, when I talk about creating value or encashing that value, is some of my students in 2004 were taken to Madagascar, which is an island country near Africa, on a World Bank project. And for about 6 months to 1 year, we were all working in the country of Madagascar. And it was a lifetime opportunity for the students who were working as internship with EnviroCare. So I'm very happy and very proud to really mentor these students of various colleges and various streams, right from biotechnology to that time environmental science, even botany, zoology, microbiology, chemistry, analytical chemistry, and in today's bioanalytical and nutraceutical, and then BVOC students. Lot of students come to our institute organization to have internship programs. So this is, I think, is a responsibility of every entrepreneur, every businessman, to really do hand holding with the students community. So we have two laboratories, one in Pune and one in Mumbai. These are the photographs of those labs. More than 70,000 square feet of lab, 200 plus employees, and we do more than 1 lakh samples a year. And we have a sample collection facility across the nation, so that the samples reaches to us and we are able to provide service to our customers. So this is my last slide. Thank you very much. My email ID, my mobile number for you to note down, and you can connect to me if you need any help, either as a student or as an entrepreneur or as a customer to EnviroCare Labs. Please feel free to connect with me on my email ID and on my mobile number. I'm also available on LinkedIn as Nilesh Amritkar. You can connect me. My company is there on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube also, where we are putting a lot of small videos and PowerPoint presentations so as to educate and create awareness to people. So with this last, there is a 5-minute uh, video that we have done for EnviroCare, which I would like to show it across to you. Please let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen, but not the video as yet.
Okay. I think I need to.
You can stop sharing this and then again
Yes, I'll
share
do
the
that
video.
way. I'll do that way. Yeah. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please put on chat, or I can take it once this video is over.
It was a fantastic presentation. I think straight from the heart, Dr. Nilesh.
Thank you.
There are a couple of questions, but I think I will let you first play the video. We can see it, but not hear it as
Yeah,
yet, but I
just a
guess.
I'm sorry with this. Just give me a minute. I'm sure I'll be able to manage something. Is it okay?
Yeah, we can hear as well.
EnviroCare Lab is an independent testing, inspection and certification laboratory with over 4 decades of quality experience in food, water, environment and pharma.
Our team comprises of 200 plus scientists, executives and administrators. Our WeCare program helps team members to continue with their education even while working. We also have MOU with NPTEL IIT Chennai, where our employees can undergo short courses in technical as well as soft skill management. Indira Gandhi National Open University, postgraduate diploma in food safety and quality management. At EnviroCare, we care.
Our central lab is 50,000 square feet state-of-art facility at Thane with additional 4,000 square feet of satellite lab in Pune. We at EnviroCare Labs believe in sustainable care and therefore have developed our labs to achieve certification from Indian Green Building Council.
We undertake sampling and sample pickup across India through our dedicated sampling executives. Our sampling team is highly trained and proficient to undertake sampling of food, air and water. These teams undergo continual rigorous assessment by regulatory auditors.
We undertake testing of various food products for its nutritional information, food additives, food adulterants, physical, chemical and biological contaminants, accelerated and real-time shelf life study, sensory evaluation. This not only helps in export but also in new product development and get to meet the national and international regulatory requirement for raw and processed foods.
EnviroCare labs provide in-depth monitoring and analysis as per latest environmental regulations issued by Ministry of Environment and State Pollution Control Boards. We monitor air, compressed air, ambient, stack, source emissions, water and wastewater testing, hazardous and non-hazardous waste, groundwater and soil testing as a part of environmental site assessment, noise and illumination monitoring and environmental biology. Our pharma lab undertakes chemical and biological testing of pharma products along with quality testing of consumer products such as cosmetics and sanitizers. At EnviroCare Labs, we believe in technology, transparency and trust for a quality India.
Over 40 years, our lab has earned its unique identity by delivering value to its customer through its commitment, service, and trust.
EnviroCare Labs is accredited under ISO 17025:2017 through NABL and is recognized by Government of India through its various ministry offices like Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India FSSAI, Bureau of Indian Standards BIS, Export Inspection Council EIC, Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority, that's APIDA, Agricultural Marketing EDMARC. The lab is also recognized by the Grain and Feed Trade Association or GAFTA and International Grain Trade Association as Analyst and Superintendent Surveyor. EnviroCare Labs is certified for QMS 9001, EMS 14000 and OSAS 18000. We are empaneled with World Bank and as partner lab with many multinationals. EnviroCare Lab is also accredited under ISO 17043 by NABL as a proficiency testing provider. Our lab undertakes proficiency testing in the biological field for food, environment and pharma labs. Our scientist team has successfully published many international papers on method development and validation which help the lab fraternity. We work analysis and beyond.
Envirocare Lab believes in Quality India and is committed to deliver accurate and prompt services in testing, inspection and certification with speedy delivery of unambiguous results and reports at an affordable cost to ensure complete customer satisfaction. We believe in first time right, on time, every time.
We work as one team with one focus, customer first.
Thank you. That's end of my video.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nilesh. I think it was a fantastic. We loved all your photos and all your two-liners and four-liners also. I think they are sending a lot of message out. There are a couple of questions in the chat box. One of them is that have you been impacted by COVID? Has the business been impacted? Your business has been impacted due to COVID? Mr. Akshay is asking.
Okay. So yes, Akshay, the business has been impacted. However, we have tried to find out ways and means of how it will affect us less and less. And COVID times, we actually started with, just a minute. The battery was going down, so I put it for charging. Yes.
Sure.
So in the COVID times, we actually came up with the concept of hygienization, and this business that we started in the month of April, May 2020 has given us very good revenues, and we have also been able to help the COVID warriors in terms of police stations, in terms of some of the clinics, and some of the government offices where we went there and we sanitized their areas. We sanitized, hygienized schools, colleges, and this has given us a very good business revenues and helped us to tide over the situation. But nevertheless, yes, we have been impacted by COVID as everybody of us.
Okay. There's an interesting question by Dr. Rutvik. He says that quality comes with increase in cost. The business models generally work with minimum costing. So also the customers in India look out for options being inexpensive. What is your take on it?
Rutvik, thank you, friend, for asking this question. And generally we planned this question in our sessions. But I am happy that this question was not planted and you have asked this question. So there are two answers to this. One is that quality need not come at a cost. That is point number one. And we try to look at this point more carefully because we know that the customers won't pay the amount that generally would have an increase when a lot of quality things are put into place. But having said this, there are certain expenses to meet the quality requirements which are non-negotiable for us, and it includes first the safety of the person who is doing the analysis. There is a cost associated with the safety, and we are very particular about it, and there is no compromise on it. The second is following the right method in terms that whatever is prescribed by the standard, that you can do the analysis using 0.5 gram of sample and you can do it in 10 gram of sample also. The results won't vary much. They would vary slightly, or there may be reproducibility issue, but you would certainly get some result. So when you are using a 0.5 gram of sample, the cost of analysis comes down as compared to when you are using a 10 gram of sample, but the method prescribes 10 gram of sample. So here again, following the method is a non-negotiable activity for us, and therefore our costs or our margins probably are lower as compared to our competition. Because we need to maintain the market rate that is going on, and uh, uh, you would be surprised to note that we have been able to successfully maintain our pricing for last 8 years without any increase of a single rupee. Rather, I would say that we had to decrease our prices because in last 8 years there have been so many number of competition popping out every now and then. I would say thanks to COVID, the pandemic that came in, that lot of fly-by-night operators vanished in this process, and people who really cared about quality or who cared about good work have sustained and are, I would not say going strong, but have maintained their strength in this period. So non-negotiables are safety and the method that is to be followed, and as far as possible try to help the customer by lowering the prices or maintaining the prices to the best low possible.
Very good. I think by lower maintaining quality, you can also reduce your intangibles or your losses in future, right? Like product recalls or food safety kind of thing. So if you're able to show that value to the customer, I guess I'm sure he's ready to pay for the premium or slightly higher price for the same kind of services. Is that right, Dr. Nilesh?
Yes, Nilesh.
Okay.
Very well add-ons to my points that I just now mentioned. And it is very important for an entrepreneur to convince the customer that whatever price that we are asking is not only for the A to B work that is being carried out, but what is the significance of the output of that A to B work that happens for the customer. And it is very important for us that time to really understand customer's customer, to really convince our customers that the pricing that is being charged is the right pricing. So this is something which is very important from an entrepreneur perspective.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Vilas is asking that does EnviroCare provide internship to cosmetic students?
Mr. Vilas, I would be very happy to help you on this, and I'm also happy to tell you that we just got our FDA approval in the month of January 2021. So somebody asked that how was the lockdown, and we worked very hard to see that we establish our protocols and concepts of for the FDA, food and drug, for pharma and cosmetics. And we just started with cosmetics, and we already have got NABL accreditation for doing cosmetic testing also. So students, interns are more than welcome, so that we will be able to now guide them into their career paths ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I think there are three questions which are very similar. So I'll ask them all together and you can give a single answer. One is that if you had one piece of advice to someone just starting out, what would it be? Second is what challenge did you face as an entrepreneur? And third is what is the biggest strength a new entrepreneur should have?
Okay. So some of the points I have already tried to put across in the slides that I've shown earlier as part of my thought process as an entrepreneur. And one thing that is very, very important for any entrepreneur is that he needs to have passion for what he does or she does. कुछ भी काम करो, do it with passion. That is the most important part. The second I would say is that entrepreneurship is all about taking risks. The risk can be calculated risk, or the risk can be high risk, low risk. But unless and until you take risk in your life in terms of your business, you won't become a successful entrepreneur. And third is, I would say that you need to be very humble, and you need to be in always learning mode, because life teaches you a lot and the business teaches you even more. I had that slide where we need to learn, unlearn, and relearn is, I think, a strong point for any entrepreneur.
Okay, Very nice, sir. So there is a comment from Mr. Sanjay Badkas. He says that yes, EnviroCare lab is very authentic and reliable. When I came in contact with Dr. Nilesh and Dr. Preeti madam for testing her turmeric powder, so I guess he's your customer. He himself is a farmer. He was treated with discipline and very encouraging manner. I also believe the results sent by the lab. Uh, uh, Sorry, I'm not sure what it is, but basically he's saying that they have tested the qualitative procedures in comparisons with other labs which I've saw. So congratulations, sir, for maintaining the ethics. We are all aware there are quality and pricing. A lot of pieces do work in this industry, but definitely EnviroCare lab is known for being very ethical and very accurate in terms of their the testing results.
Thank you.
I think there's one question that I skipped, and is a challenging question, I think, in challenging times, where what to do when cash flows get hit, let people go or lower salaries.
What is the biggest strength a new entrepreneur should have is the next question. Okay. So Akshay, a very interesting question, and it was a catch-22 situation on 23rd of or 22nd of March to be precise. क्या करेंगे? That we had done an investment, a huge investment. Our EMIs had just started because February was the time 2020 when we entered our completely new facility of 50,000 square feet. We had hired almost 30-40 people during that time, and it was a catch-22 situation for us. क्या करने का? Whether to stick to these people or ask them to go. But I would say that I'm very fortunate that there were no issues during that time, and our core team actually took it on to themselves that since there is no business with EnviroCare during those times, especially in the month of April, they on their own took a cut off on their salaries, and since they were not able to come, they themselves came up with this particular point that we will not take the salary if we are not attending the laboratory, because they all knew, they were all aware, and there is a lot of transparency in our company, in our laboratory, that whatever we earn, we share with our employees, and our core team did a fantastic job, and the cash flows got hit for almost 3 to 4 months of the initial phase of lockdown. But then the exports were picking up, and I don't know what has happened, but lockdown has seen huge growth in the exports from India, and that's where we actually were able to do a lot of testing for our customers. So last 1 year, we have been testing less for domestic markets and more for the exports. Maybe that the regulations for the export are much more stringent. Therefore, people do test lot of export requirement, and उधर डर भी बहुत रहता है कि अगर मेरा consignment reject होता है because of failure, then there is a huge loss to the customer, to the food business operator. Whereas currently in our regulations, there are certain loopholes, or I would say we are developing, we are emerging. So the focus on the domestic market right now is less. So the cash flow got hit. There were lowering of salaries, but I'm also happy over here to tell you that we gave increments to our people in the month of October 2020. We gave them their variables for the first 6 months of the lockdown, and whatever best we could. And I presume that our staff, our team is happy on the way we have been able to help them during the crisis, because they have also helped us. And one more point that I would like to tell all the entrepreneurs over here is that the point when I said sustainable care and we care, we need to show to our people that we care not only for them, but for their families. We kept B capsules, B complex tablets or capsules at our laboratory for people to take home. Encouraged the family members of every employee to take the kada, take the steam, put up the coconut oil into their nostrils. Every aspect, as if what we will do it with our family members, we try to do with the employee families also. And I think that has created a strong bonding with them.
Great, sir. I guess we are all motivated by listening to your journey, and especially last 12 months, which have been difficult for all businesses. Rupa madam makes an interesting observation. She says, are you a writer or a poet? Because your presentation was so wonderful. So I guess there's a parallel career also available to you as a writer or a poet. So
I think I think if the lockdown is going to continue like this, I would have to really change my profession to a writer or a poet.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Nilesh, for a wonderful experience sharing with us. And Dr. Nilesh has also put his phone number. So if anybody wants, I would suggest that maybe an SMS or a WhatsApp to seek his time would be a better option than just calling him right away. And we'll come to the closure. And I'll ask Diksha to please raise a vote of thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, Nilesh.
Thanks.
I would like to propose a vote of thanks. Sincerely, thank you, Mr. Nilesh Amrutkar, sir, for your time and a very inspiring and enlightening session. I would like to thank our support partners, FST Mumbai chapter, Entra02, NetPro, FRAM, AIFPA, and thank you all the participants for attending today's webinar. I declare the session has ended.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Bye.